Hey guys, it's Kelli Connor, boudoir educator and photographer here in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I want to talk to you guys about a really important topic today. Somebody asked me in the Photographer CEO Facebook group to cover this topic on the podcast. And so this is a really important one to me. This is something that I dealt with for many years, and it's something that I think is a really important topic for all business owners, whether you're a photographer or you do something else or do any type of running your own business or even just working a 9 to 5 or being a stay-at-home mom or parent. And that is overcoming burnout. And this is a difficult topic because it's hard to recognize the signs of burnout, and it's also nearly impossible to know what to do when you are experiencing burnout. And I started really recognizing the signs of my own burnout in 2018. I was working a million hours a week. I was coming off of just many years of crazy hustle and really just the fight or flight adrenaline of like getting a business really up and running and going and scaling that business very quickly and transitioning to being a full-time photographer in 2016 and just a lot, just a lot. And I started recognizing burnout when I was just so irritable all the time. I was exhausted 24/7, no matter what. And in my off time, I was really struggling to find ways to actually relax. And this is something, so I'm a big advocate for therapy. I believe everybody should have a therapist and go to therapy no matter what, even if you don't think you need one. I promise you'll find things to talk about. But this is actually something that I was talking to my therapist about right around that 2018, 2019 mark was mindfulness and just like the topic of taking time off to work on burnout. And one of the things that I was talking to my therapist about at the time was that I was going on all these vacations, right? This all started with a trip that I took to Greece in 2018. And basically, what happened was I was gone for 3 weeks and I couldn't enjoy myself at all. I was so stressed out. All I could think about was when I come back, how many emails are going to be piled up and what does my calendar look like, getting things started again. And I was just like, was just so stressed out about what was going to happen when I went back to work that I couldn't even enjoy the time off that I was trying to take to relax. And all I was thinking about was work. And so my therapist asked me, he said, why bother going on these trips if they are going to just cause you more stress? Like, why spend the money and take the time if they're just going to stress you out more if you're not going to enjoy them? And I said, but I love traveling. And he said, okay, then we need to find ways for you to be able to turn it off and not go into this panic mode when you're away, worrying about what's going to happen when you come back. He said, you need to find a way to be mindful and present and enjoy the time so that you can allow your brain and your body the time and space that it needs to start to recover from this burnout. And that was just a very impactful conversation that I had with him where I was like, wow, I really am like not even able to enjoy the time that I'm spending with my friends and family while I'm traveling or enjoy these places that I'm going because I'm so burnt out and I'm just so fried, like my nervous system is so fried that I can't even enjoy the time away that I'm taking to try to recover. And it was really just a light bulb moment for me where I was like, wow, this is something that I really have to work on. And so what I started doing is I started setting more boundaries in my business because ultimately that was a big part of the issue is I didn't have boundaries in my business. And so I was just working 24/7, checking my notifications 24/7. And I was not even just really on a day-to-day basis giving my nervous system, my brain, and my body the chance to have regular downtime. And so I just started doing little things like putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, taking social media apps off my phone, or setting time limits on them. There's settings inside your phone these days where you can set time limits on apps or social media and things like that. And so I just started doing little things like that, taking my work email just right off my phone, right? Like we have become so accessible that we worry if we're not accessible enough, we're going to lose out on business. And at the end of the day, that's not true. It's just a story that we tell ourselves. And that was like one really positive step in the right direction. It's something I still do to this day when I'm experiencing some signs or symptoms of burnout is I'll take social media off my phone. Right. And then I don't find myself doom scrolling, checking my messages, checking my email. Like, so work emails off the phone. And I have like quiet hours set on my phone where at certain times of the day it goes into do not disturb mode or goes on airplane mode, things like that, where I don't get any notifications at all, because that has been very triggering for me. The other thing that I have done is really set those work hours where it's okay, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, those are my working hours. And after 4, I'm not working. I'm not checking email. I'm not responding to anybody. I'm not taking phone calls. I have very strong boundaries. Like I don't do any type of work at all after 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. And another thing I started doing over the last few years is I started just taking Fridays off entirely and having a 3-day weekend. And I was listening to a podcast recently and they were talking about CEO Fridays. It was a podcast or a post or something. And they were just talking about how, as a business owner, I also have a toddler, right? And they were just talking about taking CEO Fridays where, and it could be any day, it doesn't have to be Friday, where you go and you take care of yourself, right? You go and get an IV, you get a massage, right? You have therapy, you get your nails done, you go for a walk, you take a workout class, go to the gym, like whatever it is, but doing things all day that are just for you, even if you're just getting a Starbucks and walking around Target or Marshalls by yourself, right? Doing things for you, having one day a week that is set aside for you, where you can pour into yourself, because it's really important for us to have a full cup, especially in a business. I'm a boudoir photographer, but I run the type of business where I'm constantly pouring into others, whether I'm pouring into other photographers through mentoring or workshops or classes, or pouring into my clients that are here to get a boudoir session done. I'm constantly pouring into other people. And on the weekends or after 4 o'clock when I'm done working, that time is spent pouring into my family, pouring into my husband, pouring into my toddler, or even my parents, my sister, my friends. And so to have that like CEO Friday where that day is for me, pouring into myself, that has been really a game changer for burnout for me, where I can just do things on a day guilt free and fill my cup. Right. I can drive to the beach. I can take myself out to lunch. A few weeks ago, I drove down to a mall like an hour away and I just walked around for the day. I had my headphones in and I was just listening to an audiobook, a podcast, and just walking around. I didn't buy anything that day. I just walked around and got out of the house, because I find sometimes when I'm home, I'm like, okay, it's Friday. Today's my day to do whatever I want. I end up sitting and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get a couple projects done for work. I'm a workaholic. It's part of my nature. But to get out of the house and go do things and have those appointments scheduled, go get a facial or something and do it guilt free. Work is always going to be there. There's always going to be a to-do list. And that is something that took years and years for me to understand and to be okay with. You're never going to get ahead. It's just not going to happen, right? You're never going to get ahead. You're never going to have an empty to-do list. There's always going to be things to do, whether it's things at work or things around the house. But it's okay to take, a day, whether it's every other Friday, one Friday a month, one Friday a week. It is okay to take a day or half a day and pour back into yourself, because burnout is intense. And if you think you can just work through it, it's only going to get worse. And burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's something that builds up over time. And one thing that I'm really strongly advocating to other entrepreneurs is, burnout doesn't happen overnight, and overcoming burnout doesn't happen overnight either. So it's extremely important for us to protect our peace and protect our space and do things to pour into ourselves on a regular basis, and not just on the days where you're frustrated and you're feeling super burnt out. Absolutely pour into yourself on those days, but do it on a regular basis, even if you're not feeling like you're experiencing burnout, because it will prevent you from growing resentful to your business or burning yourself out, running the candle at both ends. So it's a process, but it's something that we need to work on every day and constantly be pouring back into ourselves and protecting our boundaries, right? Making sure you have really good, strong boundaries with yourself, with your business hours, your clients. I don't give out my personal phone number to anybody. Clients can't text me, they can't call me. Like, we have a business line. I check the business line during business hours. Everything else can wait. Your business is not going to crumble because you take one day off, or you take a week off, or you take a month off, right? Your business will be there for you no matter what. We have to train our brain to not catastrophize. Like, it's okay to go on vacation and not check your email and your social media. It's okay to take social media off your phone. It's okay if somebody messages you on social media and you don't get back to them for a couple of days, or you get an email on a Friday and you don't respond to it until Tuesday. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. So make sure that you guys are protecting your peace, setting those boundaries, and pouring back into yourself on a regular basis to avoid burnout. And get a hobby, right? Like, work doesn't have to be the thing that you eat, sleep, breathe. Get a hobby. Do something else for fun that you love to do, whether it's painting or hiking or reading. I picked up reading during maternity leave because I was programmed to just work, and I wanted to force myself to do something that wasn't work related. And so I was like, oh, I'll just watch Netflix, but then I'm on social media or checking my email on my phone. And so I picked up reading during maternity leave, because when you're reading a book, like, not audiobook, like reading a book, whether it's paper or Kindle, you can't do anything else, because if you're focusing on something else, then you're reading the same thing over and over again. So I took up reading, and that's been really great for my brain. It's been a really nice hobby, something I can do anywhere. I throw my Kindle in my purse. I always have my Kindle on me. And that has really helped me to decompress and find something that's like very relaxing for me that I can do anywhere. Let me know if you guys have any questions about burnout. If you need any other tips for that, drop me some comments. If you have tips yourself or certain hobbies that you would love to get into. I've been seeing some photographers recently taking up things like pottery and DIY projects around your house, like all sorts of fun things. So let me know what you guys do for fun outside of work, and I'll see you next time.